Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. What is next for gold and silver? And this latest news with a pretty significant dip comparatively to what we have seen in previous trading sessions for gold and silver. What is next? We'll find out. Yes, this is the news of the day. It appears that gold and silver are down. And why is that? Because everything else is up. And that's typically what happens. That's the normal cycle, so it seems, with the precious metals. And that's what's going on today. We've got the stock market up 0.29%, 83-point increase, almost getting close to that 29,000 level again. The NASDAQ is up and the S&P 500 is also up. And so why is that? Well, in a couple of days, supposedly the trade deal will be signed by the United States and China. Now, this trade deal is just the phase one trade deal, and people are skeptical in some ways. You know, what does it actually entail? Will it be a really good thing? I guess we're cautiously optimistic that it will be signed. And so I think that as far as the unemployment level, the overall health of the economy, I think is something else that I think people are starting to realize, hey, you know what? People were predicting a sort of a downward trend in the economy. There have been several indicators, you know, the inversion of the bond yield curve, lower manufacturing numbers, housing down a bit. We shall see, but you know, unemployment is down, record lows. Even the U6 is at a record low now. By some demographic measures, it's the best employment numbers we've seen in history since they've been keeping track of this type of thing. You know, when you've taken that into account and increased wages, wage growth and employment, you know, I think it's going to translate to lower prices for the safe haven assets such as gold and silver. And that's what we're looking at right now. Let's actually take a look here. This is the New York markets. And as of the day, we're seeing some movement in a downward momentum for gold and silver. In fact, gold, surprisingly, is taking a little bit of a bigger hit than silver right now. I say surprisingly because as of recently, typically silver's been more volatile, but to the downside. In other words, it would take a bigger hit than gold. During my live stream last evening, I said that throughout the week, I thought we were going to hold on to $15.50 gold and $18 silver. Well, silver did flirt with those numbers below $18 for a bit, but already the first day of the week, and we are seeing those records or those ceilings or those floors shattered through, at least for the moment. I think it's because of this potential for some good news with this trade deal. We'll see how it is received once it is signed in a few days here. And we'll see where things go with the momentum of negotiations for the second phase or for the rest of the deal for trade between China and the United States, the two largest economies in the world. It's a pretty big deal. Of course, with Brexit now haven't been voted on, and also other things with Iran and the United States kind of easing tensions, at least for now. And then we're coming back into some normalcy here. But what are they saying here over at Kitco about this? Todd Bubba Horwitz saying gold is trying to figure out the next move. So after last Tuesday's explosion higher in gold and silver, which was immediately followed by a huge sell-off, the metals have been trying to decide where they will go next. They haven't violated the sell point yet, leaving us still sitting on the long side of the market. The high print in futures of $1,613 is now far away as the metals float around the major support level. Over the past few days, the metals have been below support intraday and have managed to close above by the end of the day. The action is creating confusion, leaving the metals in a congested pattern. Although we are long and will stay there until our algorithm turns short, looking at the chart leads us to believe that the highs are in for now. A test of $1,500 April futures in gold and $17.80 March silver futures is expected. We're very close to switching to the short side of the market. So, he's saying that we could see the prices start to decline a bit more. So we'll find out and see exactly how that plays. But nonetheless, I'm less, as these prices go down, typically that's what happens. They make these calls to the downside, but I think that we're going to recover from these last few, even with this trade deal being signed. I think that what's going to happen is, that's going to digest and realize, hey, there's other reasons why the metals will stay at least where they're at. But it's anybody's guess, and we shall see. If the stock market continues to do well, I think all bets may be off because people are going to be putting their money in there, other places. And of course, we have the cryptocurrencies we have to also think about. They've been going up as well, especially Bitcoin here. But we'll see how it all fares. It's interesting and fascinating to watch these metal prices. Not that we should live and die by them by any stretch. I don't believe we should operate out of fear as far as our purchases are concerned. And, and for many of us, especially those out there who feel like we have a foundational stack, some of us have turned into collectors or are in that environment as well. Well, it's one of those things where you make moving advances forward, and the spot price doesn't have quite as much effect as it would be if we're buying in bulk. You buy a lot of silver or an ounce of gold at a time or what have you, but nonetheless, you make the purchases when you can. And but it's fascinating to watch these markets because gold and silver, they are doing what they have always done. They're acting as the hedge, as a savings account, as a protection against the economic instability that some fear could happen. And make no mistake, I do believe that it's only a matter of time before we do have another recession. Really, no matter what policies are put into place, it's a natural market cycle. It's what we do, how we handle those recessions that I think sets us apart or does things. I believe the free market itself will be the best way to correct from a market that would be a recession. And a recession is measured as 3 quarters of negative GDP growth, and we'll see where that plays out. If some of these numbers get revised over the next few weeks or months that we've seen recently, these bullish numbers downwards, then there's real potential fear that could possibly enter into the markets, which are very psychologically driven, by the way, as we know. As we saw even with this thing with Iran, people were very fearful about what their response would be and how it would be interpreted or reacted upon. So there you have it. So that's where the markets are now. Where silver and gold will go from here. What are they trying to do? Well, there's confusion, as we've noted here, and we'll see. But I believe they are going to essentially hold strong, even though they may dip a bit. I'm still thinking that for the most part, it'll go back up unless there's some really great news that comes out of this trade deal that people aren't expecting. Then I believe we'll see the metals stay kind of right where they are, maybe dip a little bit more, but then kind of recover a bit. That's just my guess. We'll see how it plays out. Post your thoughts below about the markets, kind of where you think things are going with the precious metals. I'd like to remind you that I post videos on a daily basis. There's a video every day, and some of you even noted that you're not getting the notifications, or you've even been kicked off the sub list. Or for the subscriptions, and so I'd encourage you to resubscribe. It's a glitch with YouTube. It's actually been something that's been relatively commonplace, and so always check back there and to the page itself at youtube.com/Salivate Metal, and there's a video posted every day there. So again, an extension of a multitude of gratitude to all of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.